Did you know every minute wasted is a minute stolen from your potential? Welcome to 1440, where we flip the script and help you take full control of every day. This isn't just another podcast. It is a game plan for your life and making every minute count. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a CEO, a leader, or a side hustler, we all get the same 1,440 minutes in a day. The difference is what you do with them.
That's right, Juice. Man, we are attempting to help high achievers by combining the raw, unfiltered intensity of elite athletic training with the no-nonsense mindset needed, honestly needed, to dominate in business and in life. Okay, right. So nobody becomes a high achiever by accident. You know, you don't stumble into unparalleled productivity. You know, you're not going to become the best version of yourself by ambling your way Monday to Sunday. The truth is, you can get mediocrity right off the shelf, dude. Like, the cost is low and the rewards are few and far between. And it's the pursuit of excellence that is something else entirely. You know, that's something that's going to deliver truckloads of pride, my man, and buckets of dopamine. I love me some buckets of dopamine, right?
Best.
So if you are consistently delivering at an elite level, it's going to take meticulous planning, right? And a deep commitment to showing up. You know, really, it's like excellence. It's a mindset. You know, it's a habit. It's a way of operating. You know, it means choosing. It's like discipline over convenience, you know, clarity over chaos. You know, really it's all about progress over procrastination, right? It's not just about dreaming big, you know, it's all about putting in the work most people aren't willing to do. You know, it's like success is not going to knock on your door, Juice. You know where it is? I think it's at the top of the mountain that you have to climb. Us doing this podcast, like, our hope is that you're ready to take it to the next level, one deliberate choice at a time.
That's exactly right, my man. I love what you said about excellence is a mindset. It is a habit, right? You know, I want to share, you know, like, why did we, you know, choose the name 1440? And it's because we want to give you maximum ROI for every minute you spend with us. And so let's dive into that a little bit more. And, you know, how did the podcast idea come up, and what was the reason, Kyle, we named it 1440?
I think, honestly, man, I've been operating at a high level for a pretty long time. You know me. Like, I've had this intrinsic desire to get 1% better every day. You know, and I've been saying this for a real long time. I want to become the absolute best version of myself. You know, I'm committed to that. But honestly, like, I leaned in and I took it to the next level in June of 2019 when the vid showed up. I don't know if you remember that, but things got pretty crazy and it changed everything, right? Yep. And literally there was like no limit to the positive impact that I personally was in a position to make on the lives of patients in need and the healthcare providers that were, like, seriously holding the whole thing together. And in that moment, like, there was an urgency that demanded a new gear. Like, I had to figure it out, man. I had to have like a new level of discipline and focus and determination. And I guess I felt like I didn't have a choice but to look long and hard at the 1,440 minutes that I had every day and, like, really focus and create a plan that would ensure I made the most of my limited time. Like, so I just committed to living with intentionality, and every day became a challenge, right? To maximize my output. So whether you're just starting your commitment to excellence or you've been honing your craft for years, man, we all get the same 1,440 minutes every day. And I think it's really worth thinking about what you're going to do with them, man.
I love everything about that. Every episode of our podcast is going to be designed to really help our listeners, our audience, take control of their day, minute by minute, and building success, growth, mental toughness, resilience, grit. And let's just start, like, let's just do a quick calculation, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. 60 minutes times 24, which is 24 hours a day. That is 1,440 minutes. And I think the first step is really just understanding that time is our most valuable asset, our most valuable resource. So you figure, after sleeping, eating, spending time with your family, we probably have, say 1,000 minutes in a day to be productive, and really 1,000 minutes to focus on the things we want to get done, what we want to accomplish, what's important to us. So we have to be intentional, and we have to set our expectations on how we want to spend our time and how we want to invest it. And I think one thing you and I learned years ago in our journey is that you have to schedule time for your priorities. You have to schedule time for what you want to do. And in order to get the most out of your day, it begins the night before, right? Like, I can't just show up to this podcast. I can't just show up to my first meeting with my team with zero preparation. Like, no, thank you. Like, I have to prepare the night before to get the most out of today. And another thing is, you also, you have to look for opportunities, like, where can I buy back some of my time? And, the average person, this is crazy, but is like, the average person wastes 21 days a year scrolling aimlessly. I'm gonna run that back. The average person wastes 21 days a year scrolling aimlessly. And every time I think about that, hear it, is like, there's a voice in my head, Gary V. And what Gary V would say, his pro tip would be to delete that dumb shit off your phone right now. And James Clear would say, you gotta build better habits, and you gotta kick some of these bad habits. And one of the ways to kick a bad habit is you have to reframe your identity. Like, this isn't me. Like, I don't even know where my phone's at. Like, I'm not gonna scroll aimlessly on this today. I no longer do that. Yeah. That is not me anymore. And break those bad habits. The punchline: control the controllables.
Yeah, control the controllables is right, man. I can't be a person that loses 21 days a year. I don't have that kind of time to throw in the trash, man. I just don't. Yeah.
I agree. Well, I just got this potentially, horrible idea. Should we provide some additional clarity and context on really what, like, our audience can expect by spending their time with us?
Yeah, no, not a horrible deal at all, man. This is a good idea. Let's frame it up. Let's kind of walk them through what to expect.
Cool. Love it. All right. Well, just break it down is, these episodes are going to be 14 minutes and 40 seconds. They're going to be short. They're going to be punchy. They're going to be electric. And you're going to be spending some time with your co-hosts, myself, and Kyle. And we're going to be diving deep into, some of our personal stories, right? We're going to be sharing the wisdom of those that we admire and that are where we strive to be, right? Strategies, leadership tips. We're going to bring on executives. We're going to bring on leaders. We're going to bring on athletes, entrepreneurs, side hustlers to share their stories and their lessons from both their successes, but also their failures. Because you and I, we've learned way more from our failures than we really have our success.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Yeah.
That's where the gold is.
Yeah. And so to start, I just want to share an anecdote from Jesse Itzler. He's an author. He's an entrepreneur. I'm sure some of you are familiar with him. He's all over social media. But Jesse talks about the rule of 100. And so he says, if you spend 100 hours in any discipline, which breaks down to 18 minutes a day. And so that's 100 hours in 1 year. And so that could be, you're an aspiring MMA fighter, or you want to cook and create cooking videos on TikTok. You will be better than 95% of the world's population in that discipline. So when you are casual about giving away 18 minutes a day, think about it. Like, think about what you could be doing with that 18 minutes, what you could be learning. And I have kids. I got 3. Kyle, you have kids. You have 4. And so it's like, if we gave our kids 18 minutes a day of instruction in anything for 1 year, they will be better than 95% of the world in that discipline. And that is wild. Like, we can't make this stuff up.
That's absolute fire, man. It's like 18 minutes. It's not that much time. What a valuable investment to make in yourself, right? Maybe in our case, in our kids. Like, it's a no-brainer, man. You got to carve out that time. You got to protect it, right? So our core themes here are going to be discipline, resilience, grit, continuous improvement, and obviously maximizing every minute, right? We're going to dig deep into failure. I have had a lot of those. And we'll touch on some of the joys of coming out on top. I've had the privilege of some wins in my day, and we'll get to talk about those too. But really, our intention is to make every episode relate to either or both of your personal or professional lives. You know, we want you to get as much value from it as possible.
So, Kyle, I want to paint a picture for our listeners of really what we believe success looks like, when they're making every minute count and embracing this mindset. Again, this is whether you're an entrepreneur, an aspiring leader, just really anyone that is juggling personal and professional goals. So stay with me here. Imagine waking up with a clear game plan, right? Crushing your priorities, hammering down on those priorities, and really just, finishing the day feeling unstoppable and not overwhelmed. So, Kyle, how can mastering your time and adopting the 1440 mindset lead you to massive growth?
Okay. Well, each decision you make is going to align with your long-term vision, and every moment that you're going to invest will be purposeful and impactful. Picture yourself saying no to distractions and no to low value tasks. I love everything about that, right? The power of no, right? You'll have the confidence to say no, and you'll be freeing up time and energy for the things that create real momentum in your life. It's going to be about showing up fully and bringing your A game to every meeting, every project, everything that you have going on in your life. And then when you get there, like, now you'll be able to see the ripple effect, okay? As you master your time, you start hitting your goals faster. Your confidence builds, opportunities compound, and you're going to find yourself in rooms you never imagined you'd be in. Like, I'll bet you'll be leading conversations you never thought you'd have and making the kind of impact that's really going to turn heads, right? You will also have more time for the relationships that matter, for self-care, for moments of joy. You won't be surviving, man. Like, at that point, you're really going to be thriving.
So I would challenge everyone that is listening, dude, and challenge them to think about how they're spending their minutes, right now. Grab a pen, grab a paper, write it down, start tracking it. And how are you going to start making intentional changes starting from this episode and going forward? Starting today, treat your time like it's your bank account. Track it, protect it, invest in the things that matter, and watch the ROI 10x. So we have not talked much about us, which is very intentional to that point, because that's going to be episode 1, right? And in episode 1, we are going to cannonball into the deep end of those wild early days. For me, how I went from a lifeguard to building a multi-million-dollar company at 17.
Unbelievable, man. And I'll share what it was like to navigate my first startup during a recession and what the grind was like, what I learned about leadership, everything that I failed at, all the pressure that I had, and how those lessons that I learned drive who I am today.
So buckle up, and I would encourage you to follow, subscribe to this show, and I'll leave everyone with this. Time is our most precious resource. So let's make every minute count.